Hi guys, and welcome to another video. And in today's video we're going to be talking about the Bluetti EB70. Now, the EB70, I got this because as a security dog handler, a lot of you will know that you may be on sites where there's no power, there's no facilities, anything like that. Now, the Bluetti isn't going to help me in terms of being able to go to the toilet, but what it is going to give me is power. So that could be to charge my phone if it starts running out of battery, my torch, my body cam, different things like that. But also it can keep me warm. Now, I know a lot of people will get Chinese diesel heaters or German diesel heaters and install them into the van and cut holes in their van in order to get an exhaust and different things like that. Now, I'm not 100%, I'm not sure if these diesel heaters have somewhere in order to be able to charge your phone, etc. So you may have to use your car in order to charge your phone, therefore running down your car battery, different things like that. So the EB70, now why did I decide to go with the EB70? Now, I looked around some different makes. I think that Jackery is probably the closest Bluetti's competitor. As far as I'm aware, there probably are lots more and different ones, but the main ones that I've seen around are things like Jackery and Bluetti. Now, the one reason that I do like having this power station is how portable it actually is. Now, obviously these are portable power stations, so it's kind of in the title, but being able to pick this up and move it to another car, maybe move it indoors. Let's say there's a planned power cut at my house, I can power this up before the power cut and then be able to use phones, different things like that, and be able to power certain parts, certain stuff in the house in order for us to live a reasonable life. Now, it has a light on there as well, which will obviously help, but you can power different things off this. The one thing that I think the one reason that people don't go down this route is because of the wattage and maybe the watt hours that you get out of it. Now, this will take up to 1,000 watts. So, for example, I've got in my van a 15-meter extension cable and a little portable heater, which is nothing too extravagant. It's just a little portable heater that gives out 1,000 to 1,500 watts. So, is this going to be able to power it? Now, it will be able to power it on 1,000, but it obviously won't power on sort of the higher heats. Now, the way in which I've got around that is that I have got an electric blanket. So I've got an electric blanket which I use to keep me warm. Now, this is not going to make me break out into my shorts and t-shirts, but it is going to keep me warm. In other videos that I've done, you guys know that I say that if you layer and you dress appropriately, you shouldn't need too much to keep you warm. So something like an electric blanket in the van should keep you warm. Now, this gives out roughly 115 to 120 watts. So how long would that last? So 115 to 120 watts. My electric blanket over an 8-hour period, obviously when I've been patrolling I'll turn it off, etc. But over sort of an 8-hour period, it uses between 60 and 80% of the battery on the Bluetti. So it's pretty decent. Now, in terms of things like phones, so phones are about 5 watts, torches are about 5 to 10 watts. I've been using this for a week. So on Sunday, I've made this fully charged, ready for the week. And we are down, I've used 1 bar, so I'm down to 80% and below. So I've used about 20-25% during the course of a week. So what does that actually mean as well? Well, that means that I can get, if I'm just using this for charging my phone, charging my torches, different things like that, I can get roughly probably 4 to 5 weeks. 5 might be pushing at a stretch, but about 4 weeks of charge out of this. Therefore, I know people say that obviously, well, in the times that we live in now where energy prices are so high, you don't want to be charging this a lot. You'll roughly be charging this for about 3 to 6 hours, well, probably 3 to 5 hours, once every 4 months or so, if you're just using it for phones. Now, if you are using it for your electric blanket and you are in the depths of winter, yes, you may need to put it on for maybe 3 hours every day. So I understand that there obviously has a running cost in that. But in terms of the Chinese diesel heaters or the German diesel heaters, you obviously have the price of the initial installation, different things like that, but then you have the price of buying diesel all the time. So over the course of maybe like 10 years, which one's going to work out cheaper. Now, the reason that I did end up going for this is it's something that I can just install myself. When I say install, I use install in the loosest term possible, is that I can just pick it up, put it in the van, and we're ready to go. I don't need to worry about, have I got diesel? I don't have to worry about an installation. I don't have to worry about relying on other people. So, right, getting down to the Bluetti itself. So, the Bluetti, this one is the EB70. So, this gives out 1,000 watts. So, it'll take up to 1,000 watts and gives 716 watt hours. So, watt hours is sort of the length the battery's going to last. For example, if I had my electric blanket on 120 watts, 716 hours will give me, let's say, 8 hours. But 1,000 watt hours is possibly going to stretch me to maybe 10, 11 hours. That's a rough guess. That's not an exact science. So the watt hours is important, and it's important when you're coming to things like doing 12 hours, 15-hour shifts. Is how long is this going to last you? So this is the EB70. It costs, at the moment online on the Bluetti website, it costs $699, so £700. So it is a reasonably expensive one-off first price, but for what you get for that, you obviously get the unit, you get like the booklets and different things like that. So you've got all the information. There's a little user manual there. You get the charging pack. So the charging pack, reasonably bulky. They probably could maybe make it a bit slimmer, but it's not the end of the world. So you get the charging pack. You obviously have an AC wall plug-in, and then you also get a car charging port, so you can charge it through your car or your van, etc. And then you've got these as well. I have no idea what these are, but you get these as well. I think they're to wire in. And then you've got the features. So on the features, on here, you have a power button for each side. So each part of this, so you've got here this, so it goes in 3 parts. You've got these 2 parts, and then you've got the light part as well. Each one has its own power button. So if you just want to use the AC, sorry, this is starting to blow away a little bit. So if you just want to use the AC unit, so the plug sockets over here, you can turn it on, and this will be on whilst these USBs and the light stay off. So you don't have to, it's not a one button turns it all on. You can just use one section, therefore saving some power or saving some watt hours, etc. So you've got the AC units over here, you've got the USB-C here, you've got USB, like your standard USB, you've got some 12 volt 10 amp DC outputs there, and then you've got the 12 volt for sort of car charging ports. So it's like a car charger. You have the light. So the light is actually quite a little unique thing, because in the van it does give me a bit of light. Now it's not the brightest light you're ever going to see, but in terms of being in a van, it gives me enough light to be able to see if I want to plug something in or if I need to try and find something. It does give enough light. So it's got like a low power light. It has a high power. You probably won't be able to tell the difference, but it has a low power, high power. And then what's quite cool is the third one, which is kind of like an SOS. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it's definitely SOS, but it gives like an SOS signal. So if you are stranded somewhere and you want to try and attract some attention, you can use this in order to maybe get some attention. And in terms of that, the light uses 1 watt of power. So it will run forever. Not forever. It will run for a very, very long time if you're just using the light in order to attract attention. It also has a wireless charger for your phone on the top. Now, I've found it to be a little bit temperamental. There has been times where I've put it on charge and it has started charging, and then I've gone to my phone a little bit later and found out that maybe after like 4 or 5%, it actually stopped charging. Now, it will, let me turn that off, it will charge the phone a lot quicker. It is very quick at charging, but like I say, it's a little bit temperamental. Now, the actual power for this is on the USB side. So if you turn the USB side on, now I do have a phone case on my phone, which makes it a little bit more temperamental as well, but now this is now charging. So it does work through phone cases as well. So it is now charging. Like I say, the power for that is on the USB side. So without I know there's been lots of people that have, without looking at the user manual, have not been knowing how to turn it on, or they've put the phone on the wireless thing expecting it just to happen by magic. No, you have to turn the USB side on in order for that to get power. Now, like I said at the start, the Jackery is probably the closest competitor that I kind of know about, and it is sort of like you can get them in the UK pretty easily. Now, there's not a direct comparison for between the Bluetti and the Jackery, but the Bluetti kind of sits in like a nice little middle ground. Now, the reason that I went for the Bluetti is because of that, and I'll explain why. So on the Jackery website, you can go on there, and then on products and portable power stations, you can see down here that you get like the Jackery 1000, which is the 1000 watt. You've got the Jackery 500 watts. So you have that where it'll take up to 1000 watt, or it'll take up to 500 watt. This will take up to 1000. So in theory, in terms of power to power, in terms of wattage, you're looking at the Jackery Explorer 1000 portable power station. So if we compare the 1000 portable power, the Jackery, so if we go down and we go to specs, so on the specifications, now for that 1000 watt, it will take up to 1000 watt hours. So it's actually more powerful in terms of it will give you a longevity. So this has got 716 watt hours. The Jackery actually has 1000. So you think, okay, well that's actually very good in terms of longevity. So this one looks like the better one. It will take up to 1000 watt, etc. It'll take 7.5 hours AC adapter, and then we get down to, where is it? And also in the specifications, you can see here that in the life cycles, it gets 500 cycles. So that would be, in the Jackery, that would be powering the unit from 100% down to 0, back to 100%. Now, they say that you can do 500 cycles before the battery dips below 80%. So obviously, as you power the unit up and you use it, the batteries start to fade a little bit. So they might only charge back up to 99%, 98%, whatever it is. So in terms of the Jackery is saying that they will do 500 cycles in order before it dips below 80%. The Bluetti will do 2,500. So it's rough maths, but the Bluetti does 2,000 more cycles. Now that would mean that I could power this unit up to 100%, back down to 0, 2,500 times, which roughly works out every day for about 7 years. Now, as I've said to you, with the way in which I've done it, is that I reckon I can get in the sort of spring, summer, and autumn months. I could probably get 4 weeks out of this. So, in terms of like the longevity of the batteries, this has got a much better lifespan in terms of batteries. And also with this as well, with the Jackery, as you can see, it is £1,049. This is £700. So you're looking at about £350 more with the Jackery, with batteries that don't last as long. They don't have as big a lifespan. Yes, it will give you longer longevity. It will give you 1,000 watt hours instead of 700, but these batteries will last longer. So if you're not looking at the 1,000 watt and you say, okay, well, £1,050 is too expensive, I might want to go for one of the other ones. So you go, okay, well, I'll go for the Jackery Explorer 500, because I'm only putting my electric blanket in that's 120 watts, so I don't need 1,000 watts, I only need 500 watts. So the 500 watt is cheaper. Yes, it is cheaper. But then when you go on to the Jackery Explorer 500 portable power station, for the £500, you're only getting 518 watt hours. So instead of getting maybe like the 8-9 hours that I get out of mine, you're now only getting 6 hours now or 5 or 6 hours. Now on a 12 to 15 hour shift, that becomes a little bit problematic if you need it for a long period of time. Let's say it's very cold between 9 PM and 7 AM, you're going to need more than 6 hours use. So in terms of the Jackery 500, yes, it comes in a bit cheaper at £6.99. It's a weird price. So for £555, let's say, you are getting it for £150 cheaper than this. But it's not going to last very long. It's only going to last you for maybe 6 hours before you need to charge it back up. With this again, how many? Let's see if it has the amount of cycles that it will do. Portable, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Tech specs. 500 cycles. So the Jackery 500 again is only doing 500 cycles, where this is doing 2,500 cycles. So this is the Bluetti. Look, I understand that this is not going to be for everyone. Everyone's going to go, well, I can get a Chinese or a German diesel heater for cheaper, and I can install it in, and I can be able to heat the whole van, and I'll be able to heat the whole van or whatever. And that's great. But for people like me, who that is not an option, or that is an option that is proving difficult, something like the Bluetti, I would like to say the EB70 I think is a good all-round product in terms of longevity, battery cycles, so it lasting a lot longer before the battery goes down to 80%. It being portable, so if me and the dogs and the fiance, if we decide that we're going to go for a picnic, I can just pick this up, walk over, plonk it down, and then we have power there as well. Where if you've got a built-in Chinese diesel heater, you can only heat the van, or you can only charge if they have plug sockets, etc. You can only charge whilst you're at the van. You can't take it somewhere else. If we have a planned power cut, I can just charge this up and know, right, well, we've got 8 to 10 hours of charge in terms of electric blanket if we need it. If we just need it for phones, I know that we can last a decent amount of time whilst having this. So look, I think it's for you to investigate, you to work out exactly what you want. Like I say, I think for the money that you pay, this is the best value for money that I kind of found. Like I say, it sits in between them two Jackery ones with better batteries, longer lifespan, probably a few more little gadgets as well. But yeah, I think it's been the one. It's been a really good revelation since I had it. I used it when it snowed, so about a month, 6 weeks ago when I actually got this. The reason I got it is that the UK was having a snap of snow out of the blue in like March, and I got it, and it kept me warm through the snowstorm, through the blizzard, whatever. It kept me warm, and obviously with freezing temperatures, I've been going home with where cars have got ice on their windscreens, and I've had a nice warm night with my blanket. It actually, because of the blanket, it makes sure that the windscreen doesn't freeze up. Yes, it may get some condensation, but it doesn't freeze up. So I think in terms of like a good value for money in the middle of the two Jackeries with better batteries, etc., I don't think you can go too wrong. It's up for you. I'll put all the links down below for all of the stuff I've spoken about in this, including the Jackeries, because maybe the Jackery is something that you're interested in. But the Bluetti, I think, is the better product, better value for money, and it will do you as a security dog handler to keep you warm, be able to charge all your stuff and different things like that. So guys, that is my kind of review. I know it's not been much of a review. I've been using it for 6 weeks. It's been really good, functioning really well. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below for loads more videos. If you've got any questions, put them down in the comments section below. I'll find you the answer. And yeah, and as for now, I'll see you again next time. Cheers for watching. See you later. Bye.